Do you remember Halo? And no, I'm not talking about the Paramount TV show. I'm talking about the real Halo. For an entire generation, Halo wasn't just a game on Xbox. It was an experience where lifelong friendships were made. Which is why Bungie's latest announcement hit me so much harder than I expected. Because it doesn't just feel like we are losing another game. It feels like we are losing something that games used to do incredibly well. So what happened? What caused the downfall of a studio that defined 2 generations of players? And more importantly, what does this mean for the rest of the industry? Let's take a look into why the downfall of Bungie means more than just losing another gaming studio. It seems only yesterday that Bungie was a studio that you simply couldn't keep away from the headlines. For a while, Halo didn't just dominate shooters, it defined a whole generation of gaming. With the recent announcement of Halo Campaign Evolved, you would expect a similar hype, considering the original game was one of the highest selling games in history. However, there is something here that I don't think enough people are talking about. The hype just doesn't feel the same as it would have been 15 years ago. I remember as a kid playing Halo with my cousins, staying up late and taking turns playing missions on legendary difficulty. I remember playing Halo Reach and getting assassinated by another player. That same player now being one of my closest friends, who I still talk to this very day. It dawned on me that I don't necessarily miss Halo itself, but rather what Halo created. The late school nights, going to friends' houses on weekends, the laughs, the arguments, and the trash talk over Xbox Live mic chats. I miss the sense of community and togetherness that Halo created, and for a long time, I thought those feelings would last a lifetime. When Destiny was announced, I thought Bungie was going to captivate me again, in a similar way that Halo did. The idea of what essentially was a Halo-inspired MMO built in a new sci-fi world had me pretty excited, and while I didn't play the first Destiny, since it was a console exclusive, and at the time I moved more toward PC gaming, I remember spending many hours playing Destiny 2, grinding with friends, completing raids, and exploring what felt at the time like a brand new universe. That is to say, Destiny 2 at the time was a pretty fun game, but over the years, Destiny 2 moved in a direction I honestly didn't see coming. Somewhere along the way, I stopped logging into Destiny because I felt like I wanted to. I started logging in because I felt like I had to. I remember playing Destiny 2 in cycles, where I would feel excited about a new season or DLC coming out, only to feel exhausted and bored somewhere in the middle of that season. Then, around 2020, Bungie decided to take away content from Destiny 2 in what they called sunsetting, effectively making players like myself feeling abused and betrayed by Bungie's system. The weird part is, Bungie didn't always make me feel this way. In fact, I remember when Halo 4 came out and they had a promo with Mountain Dew, where if you redeem the codes found on bottle caps in-game, you would be able to earn double XP in matches, which allowed you to level up the different Spartan classes in the game. I recall being in high school at the time and asking my friends and peers for their Pepsi and Mountain Dew bottle caps, as well as drinking copious amounts of Mountain Dew, to the point where I was worried about getting diabetes just so I could get those bottle caps. At the time, Halo was the only game that I really cared about, and I remember grinding for countless nights just so I could flex on my friends. In hindsight, I definitely see that I had somewhat of a problem, but at the time, Halo became a large portion of my life. Destiny 2 simply lacked the kind of emotional impact that made Halo so easy to play. Over time, seasonal passes felt mandatory, and without constantly buying back into Destiny 2, you would feel like you're missing out. This led to a vicious gameplay loop, where you would essentially play Destiny for a while, get bored, play something else, and only to miss content at the time that seemed important. The game became less about having fun and more what you needed to do as a player to min-max for optimal results. With the final update for Destiny 2 announced, Bungie appears to have moved more toward what they believe are greener pastures with Marathon. And contrary to popular belief, I don't believe that Marathon is the problem. If for instance Marathon was announced 10 or so years ago, I feel like many players, including myself, would feel excited. But Marathon isn't launching into the Bungie that gave us Halo or Destiny. It's launching after years of broken trust with Destiny players, controversial decisions, layoffs, and a community that's been burned too many times. Whether Marathon ends up being incredible or disappointing almost doesn't even matter. Even if the game succeeds, Marathon won't repair the years of trust that Bungie has lost, which paints a much bigger picture. This is becoming less of a Bungie problem and more of a AAA problem. Gaming has become more than just picking up a controller and logging in to play with friends. Somewhere along the way, games stopped feeling like places to explore and more like products to be sold. And honestly, I feel like that is what we really lost. Players don't care about engagement metrics. They aren't asking for perfect games, they're just asking for games that respect their time. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I honestly miss the memories that both Halo and Destiny made for me as a gamer. I miss the long nights, the goofy moments, and the friendships that I made along the way. For me, Destiny and Halo were more than just games. They were moments in gaming where community mattered, where lifelong friendships were made. And whether you grew up as a Spartan, a Guardian, or both, the time you spent playing these games hardly ever felt wasted. It's true that moments like these only happen once in a lifetime, but hopefully someday, and someday soon, there will be another game that captivated us as an audience, the same way these games did. I'll be waiting for that moment, somewhere in the cosmos. Now it's your turn. Tell me, what was your favorite memory of playing Destiny or Halo? Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, you're gonna love my last video, in which I talk about why indie games just seem to be doing better right now than AAA games. I'll see you guys in the next one. Much love, and as always, stay awesome. Peace!